Morning, how are you? Alright? Been fresh this week, innit? Anyway, Wednesday against Swansea. Wednesday, we're hoping this week that if results went their way and they could get a good result against Swansea, they might be able to get out of that bottom three for the first time since... Well, maybe first time, I don't even know. So, a quick look at how the team's lined up. Wednesday, Beadle in goal, back three, Diaby, Heckwit and Firmino. Diaby, a late replacement there for Bernard, who dropped out just before kick-off. Full-backs / wing-backs were Valentin and Johnson. Palmer and Volks in midfield. No place for Barry Bannon, obviously one eye on that injury that he picked up. And a front three of Ugbo, Kerematri and Masaba. The visitors, Swansea then, Rushworth in goal, back four of Key, Darling, Wood and Timon. A midfield of Fulton and Grimes in the middle with Planchetta, Patterson and Parada Martin on the right, although he likes to be called Ronald, apparently. Centre forward was Cullen. So no place at starting 11 for Barry Bannon, which was a blow, but he was available from the bench, obviously, Wednesday trying to keep an eye on that groin injury that he'd picked up in recent weeks. Not getting any younger. I don't want to bang on about that, but he does get harder and harder to recover from knocks, you know. I twisted my ankle in the supermarket about 3 weeks ago, still giving me a bit of jip now. I mean, most mornings I slide out of bed onto the floor and sort of get up onto all fours from that position and do a few back stretches, and then once I've loosened up enough, I manage to roll over and sit on the floor and then try and get a sock on, you know. It's... Yeah. Wednesday could have had the lead actually probably as early as first minute. Work down the right hand side, cross into the box, little flick on by Kerematri. It's a sort of up and under back header. Masaba gets in there, he bobbles it just wide. Can he get it on target? I think he's too much underneath it to be able to really get anything, and I think if he's further out and coming in onto it, I think he probably gets that in back at net, but he's trying to generate it all with his neck, so but decent start for Wednesday. That said, they start to get to grips with it probably from that first minute, and probably the next 15 minutes it's quite steady, but it's Swansea being steady, knocking it about it back. Wednesday, not the usual, you know, sort of gung-ho pressing, 100 mile an hour. But we were very compact though in the middle. We got that sort of, the back line was squeezed quite high. The front three, Masaba, Ugbo and Kerematri, they weren't spread as wide as I thought they might be. Sometimes, you know, they'll spread in the wide player, they'll go and engage their full-back. But they were quite narrow and sort of dropping into space and compressing that middle at park, which made Swansea play quite a lot of long balls, which I thought suited us. I thought Diaby would come in onto right side when Bernard dropped out. I thought him and Firmino on the other side doing really well, because when them balls were coming in, they were just shuttling out there and dealing with it. And I think that were probably a bit of a game plan on Wednesday, because their manager talked in the week that, you know, he was sort of looking forward to the game and he knew what to expect from Wednesday with this really high pressing from the front. And we didn't particularly do that. I think we caught them a little bit off guard. And in fact, one of the things that stood out for me most in the first half was that the player who seemed, I don't check stats, I don't like that, but who seemed to me watching it to have most of the ball or see a lot of the ball in the first half was their centre half, Wood. And I think that was very much a plan of Wednesday to say, yeah, you can have it. You can have it there, but what you're going to do, because we're going to sit in, we're going to have this 3 here, we're going to have 4 in middle and 3 at back. You're going to have to do very well to play it through us in that area. I thought that helped the midfield. I thought that helped Volks and Palmer in middle, because, as you know, I'm not a big fan of 2 in middle. Just I'd love everybody to play 4-4-2, don't get me wrong. I loved it when I was young, very open games, but most teams don't do that now. And if you do play to it middle, you do risk that exposure getting outnumbered in there. But I thought Wednesday played it very nice and compressed. That front three were dropping in front of sort of Volks and Palmer, and it made it congested, which I thought were good. The one or two times they did get through, don't get me wrong, but overall I thought that worked for us, rather than the usual, let's get everybody up there. If you look at the Ipswich game, very much we squeezed right across their back line. It was almost 4-2-4, and that's great if you can nick the ball off them. If you don't nick the ball off them, no, you are totally exposed in middle, which we saw with Bannon and was that Volks again in middle? I think it might have been, but that two in there absolutely had the work cut out last week. This week a lot better. That three in front dropping, I like the look of that. As I said, for all they were having the ball, they were having a lot of it at back. It's sort of that Wood knocking out the ball into Grimes, and then it's getting popped back out again, getting wide, and then they may be looking for a little ball down channel, which we're dealing with. Diaby's a big unit, Hegwe for Mayo, dealing with stuff like that. They did, and I think what probably highlights that, like I said, is that they didn't really get the first shot away till about 15 minutes, something like that. Lad on the right hand side, I think it was Pachetta, something like that. Pancetta, I could eat some of that. My diet's killing me. All this healthy eating malarkey. Pachetta, inside left position, cracked a really good shot, and I think it's took a bit of a deflection on the way through as well. Beadling and very strong hand to make a save there, because that looked like that were going in back at net. And like I said, I think it's took a bit of diversion on the way in. But as I said, they had a lot of ball, but 15 minutes before they really tested. They're dominating possession. I can't remember exactly, but I think stats were something like 70% of the ball. But as I said, Wednesday got for me, a really good shape. There were one or two groans, because I think people have grown used to Daniel's style, that we'd going to really go and put pressure on full-backs and centre halves and rattle them and make them panic. And it weren't really that today. But I thought we looked solid throughout, and I never really felt under any pressure. I think they don't get another shot away till it's about 25 minutes. Their kid at back stick, they actually managed to get in down our left hand side there, right, put a cross in. And it was a sort of looping header back across, and Beadle managed to claw it away with his left hand. Decent header from their kid. But like I said, they've had a lot of ball, but I never felt unduly worried about it. Cadamartri working his socks off up front. I do think it's a slight waste of Ugbo, because I do like to see him in number 9 position, but I thought him and Masaba either side and dropping in and making them sort of inside midfield positions when we dropped back in, so it almost left us with a sort of 5 or 6 across middle at times when Valentin were up on that right hand side. I'd got no problem with it. Wednesday, attacks were more sporadic, but we got a corner from a Volks long throw, flicked in near post, Bambo got up, bit of a looping header. I thought their keeper made a bit of a meal of it to sort of flap it off at bar. But Wednesday were showing that there can be a threat on sort of counter-attack, and I know some people, why are we counter-attacking at home? But as I said, that last game, Ipswich, we went gung-ho, and we had our asses handed to us, so I think Danny's looked at it and let's do something slightly different. We can still defend well, we can still attack at pace, but not leave us centres open through middle at Park. And like I said, 1 or 2 little chances, that even though they had dominated the ball. About 30 minutes, they have a burst down the right hand side. They are trying to find that ball in between our wing backs and sort of wide centre halves. To that end, Valentin's quite high on one side and Marvin Johnson's a bit deeper at the other side. So at times it's almost a back 4 when Diaby's going out there. But they've got a ball in from right hand side, down channel. and that Ronald gets after it. Masaba's sort of running back with him, and Dicky just stops, chucks his arms in air. Never been a foul. Honestly, never been a foul. I've never seen it was soft. I've never seen it was soft. They're both running football, and he just stops. Oh, yeah. One of them things I kept. You know, when something really surprises you, and that really, really surprised me. I couldn't believe somebody that's 6'4", physique, professional athlete, as just. It'd be like something you'd seen in a schoolyard. Do you know what I mean? Masaba, he's hardly an heavyweight boxer build, is he? Volks had a shot. Ugbo had done really well. He was really strong, won the ball back, sort of got to the byline, cut the ball back. Volks gets across ball, but obviously he has to use his instep from that position. How else? It's probably because North stand for the throwing, so he really has to get his foot round it. Probably gets a bit too much round it, drags it wide on the other side of post. He's looking a bit desperate to score a goal. Actually, last few weeks I've seen he's had a few shots where you can almost tell he's trying too hard with it. But last goal was Port Vale when he scored that blinder. So and everybody's got to chip in with goals, and he'll be aware of that a lot. They'll all be aware of that. They've all got to all through team chip in a bit more, but still got to concentrate on getting that clean connection on strike. Probably Wednesday's best spell just before break, actually. Like I said, that Bambo header, Volks has that shot, and then of course Wednesday scored a goal. Cadamartri gets it. It's actually from his hard work. He gets on the right hand side. He has worked his socks off. Gets down that right hand side, gets brought down for a free kick. Volks comes up to take it. Good delivery. I thought Wednesday's delivery full stop were better today. I'll talk about that in a bit. But Volks whips it in. Really good delivery. All the way to back. Bambo gets eyebrows on it, flicks it on, and Cadamartri's there, back stick. Instinctive finish, left foot. Don't let it bounce. Don't try and get out on it. Don't try and smash it out like that. Just turns it in, instinctive, left foot. Almost just sticks the leg out. And that's a sign of a good centre forward, innit? Instinct, bang, in. 1-0 to Wednesday. And despite them having lion's share at ball, I didn't think it were undeserved, because I thought we did look threatening on break, and I thought we looked solid at back. Half time, Wednesday looked a bit wobbly just after half time. They'd brought low on for the Placenta. They had a good attack. Patterson, is it, young lad? He took a square ball, did really well to just sort of chest it and volley it, and it reminded me of a striker saw Letitia do some years ago when he just came at chest and volleyed it. Except that one went in. This one, Beadle, strong hand of it bar, they get a corner. We failed to clear lines. It's all a bit scrabbly in there, and they get another shot in from that, another corner. There's probably about three shots from three corners on spin there. We ride our luck a bit, but we cleared it lines, getting an head in front of things, getting a body in front of things. It's a bit ugly, it's a bit scrappy, but we're stopping it going back at net. That's the main thing. Kasama comes on for Cadamartri. It's one of them funny ones. I could understand it. On the other hand, I was like, oh, that's a bit harsh, because Cadamartri got a goal. He does look like a goal threat when he get ball in and around 18-yard box. He has got that natural instinct. Equally, I think Ugbo's better suited up there as number 9, me personally. So I could see why, sort of both ways. I'd have probably left it as it were, but I could fully understand it, because Ugbo he's got that record when we've played him up there as the main central player. He scored goals himself, and of course Gassama, we know what he brings. He brings a little bit of legs and energy, and he gives you that ability to drag team up pitch, which after break Swansea were having, I don't want to say more at ball, they had a lot of ball in the first half, but I think they were having more at ball in our half, and that's a different thing. So we needed something to bring a bit of respite, I think, and Gassama in that sense were an obvious player to bring on, because he can get ball, he can push him back and stretch him, and he can make lines drop off, because when you've got a player like that with that sort of pace, defenders, they're worried about that ball flipped in behind. So understandable sub, but harsh on Kadamatri at the same time. Really, there's about 57, 58 minutes up to, there's probably like a 4 or 5 minute window on Wednesday really sort of have their best spell at game. Marvin Johnson gets to that left hand side, flips a brilliant ball, and it's actually Gassam who's just come on. He takes it on the chest to try and control it. I think he has to, because it's sort of the way it's come into the box, but it just sort of takes it away from him. Their keeper, Rushford, he just gets out to it first, and it was a shame. It pissed it down just before half time, and I think as that ball's come in, I think it's just got a little bit of zip bounce off at rain. Dry pitch, I think he probably just touches that. He probably touches a foot out in front of him, and he probably just buries it, you know. But slippy pitch, bounces. Unfortunate. Then we have another chance. Masaba gets a shot away. It's good build-up play. Ball in. Deflects it. Masaba gets his shot away. Good save from their keeper. Reactive save, but Ugbo's in on rebound. He's in on rebound. This is what we talk about with substitution. When he's playing as that 9, we know he's got that threat in and around box. He really comes alive at 18-yard box. Masaba's had shot, keeper saves it, it's coming out, Ugbo's in, blatant trip. Their kid knows he's going to get there first, he knows it's a tap-in, brings him down, referee was 5 yards away. It's a blatant penalty. It's nailed on. Even in Sunday League, where you've got to be decapitated to get a free kick, that gets given as a penalty. It's so obvious. I'm not saying we put it away, you know, I'm not even sure we'll probably take it, to be honest with you, but it's a nailed on penalty. It really is a nailed on penalty. Like I said, this is 55, 56 minutes to probably 65 minutes, a little 9-10 minute window. Wednesday's best spell of the game in an attacking sense, and it's just, can we get that second goal? Palmer does really well to intercept a ball, drives in. He actually flips a lovely little ball outside at both, but Masaba gets in, gets a shot away, but if he could have just got his head up, Marv had made a brilliant run on outside. It would have been completely unmarked, but it's a nice through ball. But if he'd seen Marv, I think he'd have been in. And Wednesday sort of growing in terms of pressure and attacking third. I thought it was our best spell at game. In fact, I think they were getting a little bit frustrated at that stage, because they'd had a lot of ball first half. Like I said, not really particularly going anywhere with it. Second half they started brightly, had more at ball as they did in first half, but more in our third. We were having to get a foot in and an head in there, and we looked a bit ropey defending a couple of corners and crosses and what have you. Then Wednesday have this good spell, and they're looking a bit raggedy, and that Yates goes in hard on Bambo, and then like starts on him. Absolutely laughable. How laughing me, you know, Yates, he like tries to square up to Bambo, you know. Honestly, well, laughable, because of the size. I mean, Bambo did stream. And he reminded me of that Yates, you know, when you get somebody who goes out and he gets a bit pissed, can't take his ale, and then he starts mouthing off at a 7-foot bouncer who's full of steroid and could squash him with one hand, you know what I mean? It reminded me of that, so that was quite funny. Danny makes a sub, Barry Bannon comes on, probably to help us get control, because Wednesday had this sort of 10-minute spell from 55 maybe to 60, 65 minutes. And then they were starting to get back into it again. Swansea starting to take control of midfield again. So Bannon came on for Liam Palmer, probably just to get that passing going and try and dictate tempo a little bit, which is a common sense decision. Diaby went off probably because he was on a yellow card after that Yates started on him. I don't know what Bambo's got booked for. Has he got booked for laughing at him? I don't know what he's got booked for. Maybe Danny's got one eye on that. So Iofa comes on for him. No real change of shape. I think they were hoping if they could get back to what they were doing first half and being compact, but just using the ball a bit better. At this stage, Wednesday the ball stopped sticking up front. I can't particularly remember. It's going to sound stupid. I can't particularly remember Cadamartri holding it up that much in first half, and yet suddenly in second half we seem to be building it up less, even though I can't remember much of it. Maybe it's more to do with the fact that they'd made some substitutions as well. Lowe had come on, that Yates had come on. Lowe's another one and players, he gets you up the pitch. He can travel with a ball, get you up the pitch. So maybe that's one of the reasons that Wednesday weren't getting it up to our forwards as much that half. I should have probably made some notes. Little bloody moments. We've talked about them all season, haven't we? Obviously there's the blatant penalty that referees missed, and I'm not even going to bang on about referees anymore, because you say it every week and folks, he always blames referees and it's not their referees' fault, that we haven't won today. There's other factors in there, and at one bit I would have been raging about that, I'd have been but he missed that one and I was just like, no, right, yeah, because that you come to expect it now. I mean, Wednesday had a penalty all season. But we must be the only team in the league that's not had a penalty all season. Some of them will be in double figures. Anyway. Yeah. Anyway, like I said, small moments in games, little hinging moments in games. So there's the penalty we don't get. Not banking on that being a goal, like I said, I don't know who'd take it. But the moment in this game where I thought, oh, hang on. Wait bar, 72 minutes. It's a ball down left-hand side. Masaba does really well, actually, because he streaks away. He's got some right pace on him. He has to sort of wait for support, but he does really well. Little sort of half step, makes it he's going to cross it, buys a bit of time, cuts it back. And Ugbo does brilliantly. Little sort of dink on that ball just to flick it past their lad's leg and then volleys it. It's a great bit of forward play. It cracks underside at bar and bounces out, and it is little moments every week. And I did think to myself, is that going to be something that I'll look back on and think? And as it turned out, it were, because if that goes in 2-0, I think that's probably game over with 15 minutes to go, to be honest with you. But it don't go in, and 5 minutes later they're level. It's terrible. There's no... Sometimes I sit here and I think, I don't want to say something's terrible, because I don't want to slag lads off. I know that sounds daft, but I don't. But it's a really, really terrible goal. Out swinging corner, free header. I can't even tell who's meant to be marking him. Valentin's in there getting pulled away by his man, because I think he sees where it's going and sort of tries to get to it. I think Baz is spared in there. I don't know who's marking this bloke. It's a completely free header. It's really... The fact I don't know who's meant to be marking him tells you how bad it is, really. It comes in, there's a few appeals, Lowe's there. I don't know who's meant to be picking Lowe up. When corner's about to be took, he's sort of got Marvin Johnson in front of him and Volks behind him, and don't know whether Volks is marking him or Marvin's marking him, but by the time it comes back in from header, he's in there completely unmarked. You know, Volks has sort of drifted out of things, Marv's drifted off him, but played him on side. Everyone else has sort of drifted out. Marv stayed in and played him on. It bounces up. Is it handball? I don't think it's handball. You know, I think he just sort of takes a bad touch really, but it's good enough that he manages to turn and hook it in. He's not offside. I don't think it's an handball, but he's unmarked. He's unmarked, and Kiddo makes first, and I think it's at number 4. He's unmarked. And it's that sinking feeling, combined with us hitting crossbar 5 minutes earlier. That's what I thought, oh God, here we go. Probably loses 2-1 now, you know. Funnily enough, it acts as a bit of an incentive for Wednesday though, and we had a good spell from 55 to 60-65, and then we had all at last sort of 10 minutes. We really sort of kitchen sinking it then. Marvin does well, comes out left hand side, their kid fouls him, but he manages to square ball out to Masaba, and their kid number 4, don't forget his name, shocking tackle, really bad tackle, catches his ankle. Luckily he's just lifted his foot, Masaba catches his ankle. It's a really bad one. He's really lucky in a green book. But yeah, we sort of kitchen sinking it. We get a series of throws and corners and snatched shots. Marvin has one where he sort of scuffs on instep. He's usually such a clean striker at ball as well. When it fell, I thought if I fancied anybody in that position, it would be him. Usually, like I said, a really clean striker at ball. And then Valentin got in with a fantastic opportunity. Obviously still not scored for Wednesday. It comes across to him. He takes that touch forward. It was a good touch. He's got a test keeper. But the problem is I knew it was going to be a bad strike because he touches it out and then he's looking at goal. You don't need to be looking where goal is. When you're that close in, you know where it is. You don't need to be having a look where. And it reminds it like me playing golf. I'm shit at golf. Swinging down, club's just about to hit ball. I'm like, I wonder where that's going to go. And then, you know, miss ball. You were that sort of thing. Just keep your eye on ball. When you're that close into goal, eye on ball, make sure it's a right good connection. After that, you've got a chance. But I'm probably nitpicking, but I think it was sort of thing that in training, you give him 100 passes like that, he'll score 100 goals, even as a fullback, because it's that sort of area. But just lifts head, takes the eye off it. Oh. Frustrating. I said Marv has another chance at end. This time he has got his eye on it. You know, he's. But their kid gets in. You've got to give him credit. It's a good block. Takes all the sting out of it and keep him. You know, makes an easy save. Good air keeper there. Good. Smithy catches him at one bit with his arm. He goes down. 47 seconds it takes him to take that free kick. Oh, it's sunning eyes, and he's getting everybody up. Then he's like, no, not you. Oh, no. Yes, no. Go on, no. Then he's like doing stud bit of nearly a minute. I thought they were clamping down on that sort of thing. Now, mind you, they do, don't they, for the first 2 games of the season. It's like, and that's all out at window. I don't know how they bring in these initiatives, really. Do you know what I mean? Nobody can talk to referee gets that for captain. How long's that going to last? About 40 minutes into the first game of the season. Yeah, so don't change out. If you're not going to follow through with out, don't change out. Just about. Yeah. And that sort of coming into death then. One more chance, it's Marv. Ball comes across. It does really. It's a great first touch. This is why it frustrates me. It's a great first touch with his left foot. Just clips it sort of over their lad's leg. Come bounces. Just set him bouncing nice. He's not got angle for left foot, but he tries to swivel and get all out step on it to bring it back in, you know. But it sits. You know, if he swings his right foot, I know he's left footed, I know he's played all his career on left wing and left wing back, and players are more comfortable with one foot than the other. I know that, everybody is. Very few that can play equally with both, but one thing you can do with both feet, and this is any player, you can smash it. Every player can smash it with both feet. You know, you might be able to only do brilliant crosses with your right foot. You might only be able to sweep majestic passes with your right foot. But you can still smack it with your left foot. Everybody, I don't care who you are, can smack it with your weaker foot. And he's took a wonderful touch. He flipped it over man with his left foot, and it sits up perfect on his right. And if he just, same thing as what I'm saying about Valentin, if he just keeps his eye on that ball and just thinks, as long as I get me laces through the middle of it and punt it, it's on target. But swazzes it with left, can't draw that power because his body angles, he's trying to get round it, and I mean, I don't blame him. It's still a big ask to put it in from that distance, but little things, when games are tight and you're frustrated, and I am frustrated, I think everybody would be frustrated today. Danny Rull were frustrated at end, you know, he would on getting it bloody finger wagged to referee and liner. Actually, fourth official got a bit and all. But when you're frustrated, and it was frustrating today, you start looking at little bits, some little moments, and why don't he keep his eye on it? Why don't he go for it with his right foot? Why is he not, you know, why has he jumped too early? Why don't he stagger his run? And you look at them little things, because little things make a difference, don't they? Little fractions make a difference, you know. So 1-1. It's 2 points dropped. You know, there's no beating about the bush really about it. 2 points dropped. We were in a good position. I thought it was a good performance. I know history books will say, you know, that Swansea dominated ball. They did dominate ball, but I didn't think they threatened us too much. And 1-1. I think they'd probably be gladder with 1-1 than we were. You know, I thought we had best opportunities at game. The keepers made some good saves. Penalty turned down that was Stonewaller. Hit bar. Disappointing and frustrating that we hadn't took all 3 points. We definitely dropped 2 there. On the spin side of that, I always do try and think about it in a positive way. The positive is Huddersfield have lost, so it's a point gained on them. Birmingham have lost, so it's a point gained on them. And I think that's where you've got to look at it. As frustrating it is, it's a game that before it, I was talking to one of the lads at work over there, and I said, point. I know it's an home game, you want to win, I'm sure we'll try and win, but if we've got a point, I won't top missing about it, and we've got a point. It's only disappointing because of the way the game went and the chances and opportunities we had, but on Thursday I was like, yeah, I'll take a point, and we've got a point, so yeah, it just lick of paint on underside at bar ain't something that might have cost us here. The old Jeff Hurst coming down, it was point gained. Let's focus on that, point gained.